In this video, we will be covering methodology support. This is the place where you can configure your project for agile or traditional development. With each DevChat project, we offer a solutions guide which can be used as a quick, handy guide to assist you with configuring your project. Whether you're using traditional or agile development, it contains the best practices and step-by-step instructions on how to configure your project and make sure you are up and running in the shortest time possible. Under methodology settings, we can define and shape how our development space will look like within a DevTrack project. A development space is a defined space used by single or multiple development teams working on the same project. For example, an agile development space usually consists of releases with children iterations underneath. For a more traditional development space, we can choose to disable the iterations. We also have settings here that allow you to rename the folders according to your nomenclature. For example, if you wanted to rename iterations to sprints, you can do so here. Lastly, we can specify a default time duration for iterations and can prohibit assigning tasks or work to previously completed sprints. Within a sprint, we have the option to create additional folders to better organize our work. When we start to create new sprints, we may want to create the same folders. The templates defined here can be used to automatically create these additional folders when creating a new sprint. For example, if I use the functional areas template while creating a sprint, the Windows client and the web client child folders will appear automatically underneath. If I use the time template, weeks 1 through 4 subfolders will be created underneath the sprint. The backlog support settings define whether or not backlogs are used within this DevTrack project. We can enable a global product backlog in which stories created from specifications in DevSpec or bugs found by QA and dev tests are stored before assigning to development. This backlog spans across multiple development spaces. The release backlog, on the other hand, is specific to a development space. Each development space can contain one release backlog to help you plan and prioritize items for your releases in the development space. We also have the ability to allow those that do not have DevSpec to use standalone stories without first needing to create specifications. Lastly, we can also define which data points we want to use to help us prioritize stories and tasks within the backlog. We can choose to enable or disable estimated time, story, or task points in an arbitrary priority value. These data points can also be renamed to what works best for you. Implementation modules are used for quick task creation. They are tasks that are always needed when working on a story. For example, with each story I assign to development, I may always have a documentation or a QA task. These modules are linked with DevTrack templates, so very little data entry is necessary. The only thing that needs to be changed usually is the owner responsible for these tasks. Assignment settings allow you to bypass the product backlog and to directly assign specifications from within DevSpec into a development sprint in a development space. We allow you to automatically create child tasks or ensure that task creation is mandatory when assigning a spec to development.